Meditation usually is in two parts. The first part is what we call the Samatha. It spells S-A-M-A-T-H-A. Maybe you should start to take notes for some of you who have never listened to lectures before. Meditation is in two parts. Of course, we're not touching on the objectives of meditation today. The objectives of meditation is multifold. It takes a long time to talk about it. We just talk about a technique today. So meditation is basically in two parts, Samatha and Vipassana. Meditation has so many names, you know. In the Japanese language, it is called Zen, Z-E-N, Zen, or Zazen, Zhou, Chan, Zazens. In the Korean language, is Sonjong. In the Chinese language is Chan. So it itself has so many similar names too. Samadhi is another word for meditation, and dhyana is another word for meditation. But anyway, so it's in two parts, like the wings of a bird. A bird has two wings, the samatha on one side and vipassana on the other side. You can't fly with only one wing. You need both. Samatha is, in the Chinese language, is zi. Vipassana in the Chinese language is Guan. So altogether we call it zi Guan. So you need to know it. When I'm going to talk to you, it's not easy to find a book that summarizes all this. You know, people have been looking for books. I put it all together for you as far as I can. I don't claim to be the best organizer in putting it together, but I try my best. Samatha and Vipassana. So what is Samatha? Samatha is the development of concentration, where we direct the mind to a single subject and rest onto it. Remember what Lee talked about this morning? When we meditate, we concentrate on our breath. The nose tip, we count our breath, we have an object. That object, we direct our mind to that object and rest in there. You put your concentration in there. Concentration is very important. As I always told students, if you have the best concentration, you are the A students. If you have the best concentration in your job, you're the best workers. You're the best scholars if you have concentration. As a matter of fact, success in academics and in job depends on how much concentration you can put. Concentration, it's absolutely important. So we can see, without me telling you the objective of meditation, we are training ourselves in concentration. So the first one is we direct the mind to a single object and rest in there. Counting our breath, we say, we sit, of course, you know your postures, the 3 A's of meditation. Lee always mentioned the 3 A's of meditation, the 3 adjustments of meditation. Your body adjustment, your adjustment to breath, your adjustment to mind, that you really have to know. All these is to gear yourself towards that concentration, help you to concentrate on that object, which we call breath or the nose tip. So that's the first one, samatha. The second is vipassana. Vipassana is the development of mindful awareness, in which we use the tranquility arises from samatha to see the impermanent and changing nature of our experiences. You see what I mean? We all have experiences. We have experiences in life. We have experiences now in the meditation itself. We don't have to experience impermanence and changing nature in life only. We can directly experience the impermanence and changing nature right in the meditation. That's vipassana. How? You're watching your thought coming up. A thought comes up, it sustains itself and it goes. If you don't control it, if you don't know about it, the thought will just occupy you for the rest of the half hour that you are here. You're thinking about many other things. You're being carried away. In other words, the concentration is interrupted many, many times during the meditation. And at the same time, if you practice Vipassana, the tranquility, the peacefulness you obtain from Samatha, you use it to watch the impermanence and changing nature of every thought that arises. In other words, you're expanding your concentration to contemplation, to insight. We call it insightful meditation. So the two wings, concentration and awareness. Are you aware? First of all, can you concentrate? Very simple, two things. And now, what do we mean by, let's get deeper into it since we have time. I deliberately cut short on the chanting session. We used to chant the compassion mantra and other mantras, but today I like to cover all of it. Samatha, how do we do it? We watch. We have an object. We have an object. What is that object to help you in the concentration? Your breath. We watch and count our breath in and out, in and out. When your mind goes away, you lose your count, you just come back to it. Don't get frustrated by it. You just come back to the breath again. You concentrate, you visualize as if you are that little molecule inside your nose tip, feeling your breath in and out, in and out. And then suddenly, you lose your breath. Don't get frustrated. Come back to it. Suddenly the monkey goes away. Its leash is unleashed, but suddenly he gets off from the leash, goes away. Doesn't matter, bring him back again. Our mind is just like a monkey. It's non-stop. You bring it back. It's a constant bringing it back to help in your concentration. But strictly speaking, it's not concentrating in the sense of control. You're not controlling it. Concentration has a negative connotation. Concentration sometimes means I'm here, the object is there, I'm the subject and that's the object. I gotta put it under surveillance. I gotta control it. So concentration has a negative connotation of grasping onto it, holding onto it, attaching onto it, never let go of it. No, that's not what we mean by concentration. You don't grasp to it. Have you grasped and attached in love to your daily lives? You grasp to your jealousy, your hatred, your anger. You're attached to your depression. You're attached to your greediness. You're attached to many, many things. And you come to meditation to attach again, and this time to your breath? No. That's not what I mean by concentration. Concentration is to get rid of that attachment. It's that attachment that gets us into trouble. We're attached to so many things. We're attached to materialism. We're attached to fame, to reputation. In certain cases, we're attached to relationship. We're attached to love. That's dangerous. We're attached to love. Usually one-sided love. So, no, concentration is not. Concentration in the negative sense involves a relationship. In other words, you as the subject trying to concentrate on something there as the object. But no, rather than concentration, we practice the mindfulness of bare attention. You're just paying attention to your breath. We try to end our desultory thoughts. We have so many desultory thoughts wandering from one location to another. We try to direct them to an object in order that we have this bare attention. You understand? So samatha, does not have that negative connotation of concentration. It is just, concentration is a good word, because if we don't say concentration, you won't understand. If we don't use that word, the common English concentration, you don't understand how. But then that's not what we mean. That's the barrier of language. Because language itself cannot communicate everything. You really have to explain it. So samatha means pay attention. But you can't just use the word pay attention, because somehow you really have a subject and an object. So it's not directly concentration. It's not exactly bare attention. It's in between. So samatha means ultimately development of peace of mind. What are we looking for in life? Some people say happiness. How do you define happiness? So many people define happiness in so many ways. Some people got a West End mansion, and that's happiness. Some people say, no, a cottage for me in Coquitlam is good enough. I feel happy about it. So definitions, different people have different requirements, they have different definitions of happiness. But I think one definition is common to all. What is happiness? Peace of mind. If you don't have peace of mind, it does not matter what you have. You can have billions of dollars. If you don't have that peace of mind, you are not happy. Anybody who disagree? Raise your hand. If you don't have that peace of mind, it does not matter how much money you have. Peace of mind. That's what we want. Peace of mind. Everybody in agreement? Nobody raises his hand, so that's in agreement. So samatha is not a mindfulness of control or suppressing your mind. It's bare attention that has nothing to do with control. It is simply being and keeping a watchful eye on your breath first, then gradually developing it into watching your thought arising, sustaining, and disappearing. You see what I mean? You work from samatha slowly into vipassana. Some people say, oh, I have been counting my breath. Where do I go from here? Just counting my breath for the rest of my life? No. You gradually get into another realm. You experience it. Don't get frustrated at the teacher, the guru. Oh, that teacher is always talking about breath and breath. It's boring. I've been doing that for thousands of hours. No. You yourself, you haven't explored enough. You haven't got into that realm. You don't have to be told. You walk and walk and walk. You walk from Richmond to Vancouver, you cross that bridge, you walk and walk and walk. And you worry about getting to Vancouver? You get there. You go over the Granville Bridge. You get to the city of Vancouver. You don't worry about getting into it as long as you walk. Keep on walking. If you don't walk, how can we help you? You can drive though. Some people drive. Some people work faster. Some people are more intelligent. Some people are less. Some people have more patience. Some people, they don't. That's your own karma. Some people are born with that wisdom. They carry that meditation practice into this life. You don't have just this life, you know. You have a previous life, and the previous, and the previous. You add up your karmic force. That's the example I use. Some people drive and some people just walk. You have no choice. Karma, karmic force, give you that choice. So it is impossible for learners like you and me to concentrate 100% and not make any mistakes. In other words, to concentrate on your breath, you lose your breath, don't worry about it. It will come back again. Let your counting come and go and just watch them and do not attach to them. It sounds as if you relax and work simultaneously in your meditation. In your meditation, you relax and work simultaneously. So I always say, meditation is more enjoyable than watching a movie. Because in meditation, you're watching your own mind. A movie deals with somebody else. When you're watching a movie, it's all fictitious. According to the script, the plot, you pay the money, you sit in a cinema house, and you just watched it. And after the show ends, you go home. But watching your own mind is more enjoyable. Why? You see the development of your own mind. you see how your mind develops. Is your mind important to you? Is your own mind? Is that movie more important than your own mind? You pay for the $6, you pay for it to get into the movie. And you enjoyed it. It's amazing. People are willing to pay for something that is not worth it. They don't spend time. They spend that 2.5 hours in the Odeon Theater. They don't spend that half hour on watching their own mind and know something about their own mind. Samatha is simply being there and keeping a watchful eye on your breath, and then slowly develop into it. And you never get frustrated. But some people say it's boring, it's repetitious, it's watching your breath all the time, it's repeating all the time. It's repetitious, it's boring. But do you know that repetitiousness is one of the most important aspects in all kinds of training? You repeat it and repeat it until you know it. It's just like you're a gold miner or you are drilling oil in Alberta. You go to the well. You know there's oil in the well, in that area, in that acreage. You know there's oil. You drill that well, and you drill about 20 feet, you say, no, I can't find anything. Another 10 feet, you can't find anything. And then you say, I give up, because I've been doing this repetitiously. But at the 40 feet down, there's oil. You give up already. It's the persistent and patient guy who drill and repeat and never give up. That's the guy who becomes successful. He gets the oil. It's just like the gold miner. You have all these mineral claims. You go up to the mountain. You face the danger of being attacked by bears and animals. You go everywhere. You tap your minerals, who couldn't find it. But it's the patient and tolerant guy who found the gold. So you really have to have the patience in doing it. And let me tell you, repetitiousness is extremely important in meditation. Actually, this boredom, we call it, sometimes people call it boring. This boredom will develop into persistence and patience. This boredom, it helps to get you into the Vipassana. So this repetition develop into continuity. Like a river and flows and never stops its natural flowing. It has this sustaining power. And so don't be worried about repeating the same procedure every day. Repetitiousness is extremely important. And have you heard of a koan? You know what a koan is? K-O-A-N? A koan is a story, an anecdote, a story that happened in a temple, in a Zen temple. There was a koan written in a book of Chen, in a Zen book, and that book is called Jingde Lu, chapter 10, and I read it last night. It's about a koan of go drink your tea. Zhao Zhou's koan in the Chinese language is called 去茶去. 去茶去, 赵州去茶去, go drink a tea. And I like to tell you that that story is a true story. In the Tang Dynasty, there was a Zen master. He was called Zhao Zhou. And Zhao Zhou, he was, at that time, was about 85 years old, and he was a Zen master. He was also the abbot of the temple. And he always organized this 7-day meditation retreat in a series of 7 days. 7 and 7 times 7 is 49 days. It's a 49-day series of meditation retreat. And at the beginning of the retreat, he liked to go around the temple. He liked to go around the temple, and this old Zen master going around the temple and ask people coming to the temple, participating the retreat. And he met a guy, a monk, and he asked, have you been here before? And of course, the monk being asked that question he's a newcomer and say, oh, I haven't been here before, Venerable Master. I haven't been here before. And then Zhao Zhou said, oh, then go to drink your tea. Go drink your tea. So there's another monk coming up, and that monk's been here for quite a while. And Zhao Zhou, of course, there's a lot of monks, and he didn't remember, and asked, have you been in here before? And the old-timer said, oh, I've been here before. And then Zhao Zhou said, then go drink your tea. And then the senior instructor of the meditation hall was perplexed by all that for a number of years. And one day, the senior instructor, who had been there for a number of years, asked Zhao Zhou this question. Master, for those that have been here before, you told him to go drink tea. And for those who haven't been here before, you also told him to go and drink tea. I don't understand. And then Zhao Zhou said, Venerable instructor, how long have you been here? The instructor said, I have been here 15 years. Zhao Zhou said, steadily, go drink your tea. What's the meaning of this? Everybody goes drink your tea? There's a lot of philosophy behind it. We call it koan philosophy. There's hundreds of koans, 500 koans, and in analyzing this koan, sometimes we get some answers. And actually, just to get into some philosophy of it, because we didn't have time to touch on details. Actually, the old master was going about a temple trying to test the students for the level of enlightenment. The enlightened ones would not give the same answers as the enlightened ones. The question, have you been here before, are the subtle words that could trigger a sudden breakthrough to the meditative level of understanding. Because when suddenly asked such a question, the enlightened students would grasp at the external meaning. You ask me, have I been here before? So I cling onto the external meaning using my discernment of my discriminating mind. You ask me, what is the language? Language concerns time and space. You ask me, have I been here before? The time, here in this place, space, you ask me something about that. Of course, I use my discernment to tell you, based on that conditioned human language, I have been here before, I haven't been here before. But meditators are not supposed to use the discriminating mind. You step back, you get away from your ordinary discernment, your ordinary confused, discriminating mind. You don't work at that mind anymore. I always imagine if I'm asked that question, how would I answer? Knowing that koan, of course, had I didn't know that koan, I wouldn't have given an answer. I would say, what would I say? Have you been here before? Or I haven't been? Have you been here before? I have been here before. Then I would say, Venerable Master, why do you still have that discernment in your mind? Why are you relating to time and space? Are we supposed to be out of that? Are we supposed to be out beyond that discriminating mind? How come we're still at it? How come we're still attached to it? How come we're still attached to that human, conditioned human language? Are we not supposed to break away from the barrier of language, the barrier of conception of the mind? It's that conception of the discriminating mind that got us into reincarnation, that got us all those mental afflictions. Are we supposed to get away from it? Well, if that's my answer, of course, Zhao Zhou would give another question. Because, this guy you know a little bit, let me get you some more. And he'll continuously give you another question until you're dumbfounded. Because Zen masters are like that. They get you by serious, test your understanding. You don't get trapped in my first question, you get trapped in my second, third, fourth, fifth. Because you always cling to external meaning. You always cling to language, to time and space. You can't get away from it. It's the fully enlightened one that would give you the fully enlightened answer. and I'm not. Maybe some of you can, after a while. So, you think, getting back to the story now, not philosophy of the koan. Go drink your tea. Is this so common, so down to earth? It has become your daily routine of drinking. It is repetitious. You do it every day. It's repetitious. Zhao Zhou also implies you haven't got it. Go back and do it. Go drink your tea. Go back and do it. Because I asked you that question. You answer me with that discriminating mind, you deserve drinking more tea. You're not out from it. So drinking that tea is repetitious. You and I, every day, every Saturday, we're drinking that tea. The tea of meditation, the tea of Zen. That's why in some tea house they say, tea and Zen is one. It's not two. Tea and Zen. And in the Chinese language, we call it cha, chan, yue. I don't know how you call it in Japanese. Do you remember how you call it in Japanese? Cha, chan, yue. Tea and meditation is one. It's one. Huh? Yes, it's one. Cha, chan, yue. And the Japanese like to put that scroll of calligraphy in the tea house. Yeah. Tea relates to the meditators. Because tea is the meditator's coffee. They don't drink coffee. They grow their tea leaves. They drink their own tea. 15 years ago, I was in Tiantai San. I was in the Tiantai Mountain. I participated in a retreat, and I saw monks plucking tea leaves with baskets of tea leaves at the back. It's a very poetic scene. Mountains and tea fused leaves. And I saw a few monks plucking tea leaves, and they pluck the tea leaves, they pick the tea leaves, and just throw it in the basket behind. And they deliver these tea leaves to temples. And that's a good sight. 7,000 feet above sea level. You saw these monks, no people around, these monks picking tea leaves. And I was there watching. Anyway, get back to this. So, the tradition is trying to emphasize on boredom, the repetitiousness, the continuous efforts, the unending struggle. We'll never give up until we get the oil. We throw it into the ground and get the oil. Remember the common English proverb, a rolling stone gathers no moss. Some people like to read from one book to another, going to one meditation center to another, one guru to another. You don't have to look. Look inside of you. Don't look outside. If you're not, if your meditation is not dealing with your own mind, and it's dealing with something external to your mind, you're always looking for a teacher, looking for the book, looking for videotapes, you look for everywhere. You don't look for your mind. You watch everywhere. This is not the best method, this is a better method. But the method is in your mind. There was a nun, I don't know if I talked about this before. There was a nun, a bhikshuni, a nun, a Buddhist nun, who practiced in his own temple for quite a number of years, 20, 30 years, and she was not satisfied. One day she said to the abbeys of the temple, and she said, I would like to go away. I would like to travel around and get more information and get other teachers, other teaching techniques. So she went around for another 10 years, 15 years, because she couldn't get anything. And time to go home, to make this home run, she wanted to go home. And as she was entering into the front yard of her own temple, the cherry blossomed. And she sniffed the fresh air of the cherry, and she suddenly got enlightenment. And she uttered a poem. And she said, I have to gear my mind into the Chinese language and translate it into English. I've been looking everywhere for the real spring, and I have worn out many a pair of shoes. I haven't done it. In other words, I've been going out to look for the real spring. I don't know what the real spring is, and I wore out many a pair of shoes and I couldn't get it. But when I returned to my home temple and went under this forest of cherry blossom, I found the spring is right here in my hometown. I wasted all this time going everywhere looking for it. It's right inside of me. Why am I still looking? Anyway, that's Samatha. And of course, simply watching your breath, it seems monotonous and unadventurous. People like to go to meditation center. They want to venture into something new. Your tendras, your chakras, visualizing images, visualizing on your different 7 chakras of your body and vibrations and all that. They always look for something magical, something very mystical, something they don't understand. They want they want it to be very adventurous, but ours is unadventurous. We do not discover the third eye. We are not in the process of discovering the third eye or unfolding chakras. We're just sitting in there. But it is recorded that the Buddha was given many Hindu practices also. The Buddha practiced many Hindu practices, many other practices. He scorched himself in fire. He practiced austerities by self-afflicted suffering, such as fasting, eating only a few sesame seeds per day. He related with the energy of Tendra by concentrating on chakras and visualizing a lot of images. He gave all that up. He realized that these practices were just gimmicks rather than samadhi. So he decided to look for what is simple, what is actually there to discover the relationship between body and mind. So this breath, anapanasati, this breath, the technique that we have, you see, samatha is concentration and bare attention. But samatha itself contains so many techniques. One of the most effective techniques was used by Buddha, and that was anapanasati. And that was written in the Anapanasati Sutra. That is, watch your in and out breath. That's what the Buddha used. We've been using the Buddha's method, but of course there's so many methods to use. That's the safest method. That's the for sure method. But that method's required repetitiousness, required confidence and never give up, required you to drill and drill and drill until you get it. You see what I mean? So that's samatha. So we only have about 10 minutes, and maybe I should start on the Vipassana. So you know what samatha is. It's concentration, bare attention, the breath, in and out breath, anapanasati. And you practiced it. Some people practiced for years, and some people practiced for 1 year, 2 years, some people practiced for 20 years, 30 years. It does not matter. Some people, after 20 years, they're still in and out breath. And somebody started, and he got developed into Vipassana after 1 year, but this guy still anapanasati for 20 years. But don't underestimate this guy, because suddenly, on the coming Saturday, he got all enlightened, because he kept on drilling and drilling for 20 years. You think it's dumb? Everything is on causality. Every thought, every energy, every minute little action adds on to it. It never fails. In the philosophy of causation, of course, we need to explain what causation is, causality is. It's a very profound philosophy. Causality is one of the basic philosophies in Buddhism, which we need to explain in another session. But Vipassana is a Sanskrit word for awareness, sometimes translated as insight. Literally, it means clear seeing. Combining Samatha and Vipassana plays an important part in the development of meditation. Mindfulness in Samatha becomes, all of a sudden, become awareness. Mindfulness is taking an interest in the simplicity of the breath, of walking, of sensations of the body. You see, when you're walking, it's mindfulness, it's pay attention not on the breath. You see, we are all breathing unless we're dead. Your breath is the most important to you. But nobody would treasure anything unless you lose it. You won't treasure the warmth of your parents until you lose them. You take your parents' love for granted. Oh, my mom always looked after me. My dad provided me with education and all the love, all the responsibility that they give you. And you take it for granted. You don't value it, you don't treasure it, until one day you lose them. So that also teaches you value what you got, your breath. One day when you're dead, you don't have breath anymore. You can't breathe anymore. You take your breath for granted. That also reminds you, when you are in good health, you practice meditation. When you're in good health, you find out more about not going into suffering anymore. We've been in reincarnation. We've been in suffering. We go through samsara of life and death. You take it for granted. You don't care. Every day you live, you think. But when you're healthy, when you're still, you can breathe, why don't you take the time to find out spiritually, the spirituality of your life, not the materiality of your life. You got enough materiality. Why are you still attaching to them? Get to the spiritual odyssey. Find out more about how do you end that suffering. Why am I always reborn? Why do I have to go through the suffering that I have been suffering? Can I stop my suffering? So when you are healthy, you don't do that. Until one day you don't have this breath anymore, it's too late. Or one day you're seriously sick, you can't do it anymore. Don't laugh. It happened to billions of people like that. I've been in the temple since this day one, and I have met many, many, many people who had problems, who come to me or problems. He thought I can resolve problems. I said, no. I can only give you some guidance based on what I know. Some people have all of a sudden got terminal disease of themselves, of their family members. Some people involved in car accidents. Some people involved in many, many, many things. And suddenly they were confused. They asked for help. And then I said, go chant sutra. Go do prostration. But at that time, their mind is so confused, they can't do anything. What they can only do is crying, sobbing, weeping, confused, depression. They got into problems themselves. Their family members have problems. They got so grief-stricken that finally they themselves got depression. While you are still healthy, pay attention to the spirituality. Why? Why were we born in here? Where did we come from? How do we end this suffering? How do we end sufferings of others? That's what the Buddha found 2,600 years ago. He found how to terminate suffering. He introduced his method to terminate suffering. He didn't walk out on us. He come back to the forest of suffering and introduced his method. How many people listened? I'm away from Vipassana now, so I'm going to concentrate on my Vipassana. So, mindfulness, so the effect of samatha is that tranquility arises in you, that peace of mind. It helps you to get the clear awareness. This awareness is acknowledging the totality of the whole thing. Now you still are mindful of your breathing though. Then suddenly you realize that a thought arises in your mind, you get into Vipassana. A thought arises. Tomorrow I have to meet someone. Tomorrow I have this project to do, I have this work to do. But I'm in meditation now. How come that thought arises? Oh, I thought that thought about my project that I'm going to do arises. It sustains now, but I know it. I know it. Once I know it, I watch that thought and I talk to myself, let that thought disappear. I don't want any desultory thought. I don't want any discursive thought. No more thought. I want to have just that clear awareness. No more desultory thoughts. They all should disappear. That's Vipassana. You're detached from that thought. All of a sudden, a thought of jealousy comes up. Oh, my husband. I suspect my husband is having an affair with his secretary. I feel so grieved. I want to do something about it. But that could be all suspicious only. That could be all jealousy only. Nothing happened. It's just you created jealousy in you. That jealousy dominated you. It couldn't get away. It couldn't get away even it comes up in your meditation. It arises. That jealousy arises. You watch that jealousy. That cloud of jealousy is coming to dominate you, to overwhelm you. You are that mountain. Oh, that cloud of jealousy comes. It's black. It's all black and thick. It comes, okay, I don't let it overwhelm me. I let it pass. So it passes by, it passes. I see it sustaining, and I see it going, and I see it disappearing. Can you do it like that? I can't all the time, myself. Sometimes when I get angry, I'm just carried away. I'm just being carried away. Even my teacher, sometimes I say, how come that teacher is talking in that way? How come my teacher doesn't pay attention to me? How come my teacher is doing this or that? You always feel dissatisfied. You always feel that you're unhappy. So that's the reason why when you enter this temple, there's a laughing Buddha. And right underneath the laughing Buddha on the altar table, there is a stone that carved onto it. Always maintain a joyous mind. Very few people always maintain a joyous mind. They maintain an unbalanced mind. The mind that always overcome by jealousy, hatred, greediness, disappointment, anxiety, worries, troubles, you name them. Those are the kind of garbage that your mind and my mind always are filled up with. Do you want to get rid of them? Come for meditation. Meditation helps you. Vipassana helps you. It helps you to watch that garbage. Some people don't even know they got that garbage in their house. They don't even know about it. If you know the garbage exists, you start to sweep it clean. You're happier that way. When you sweep it clean, you get to a certain level that no more garbage. Only clear awareness. Nothing else. You are completely aware of everything. Then is enlightenment. Time is up, and maybe just a few words. When thought arises, it comes and goes, you don't get carried away by it. You only have that clear awareness in you. You are aware of that, of what happened. So whenever anger comes, here comes the cloud of anger. You do Vipassana not only in meditation when you're sitting though. All these, you do them in every second of your life. When you're walking, when you're cooking, when you're working, when you're driving, you do your Vipassana by watching your mind. Oh, here's a thought that is really bad. It's sustained. I want to drop it. I want to drop it. So there's no more garbage. It's clear awareness. Every word is taken by this awareness. There is no room for anything else. No room for any discrimination. No room for anything at all. So there is no one to practice. Not even you. There is no subject and no object. Some people say, oh, you're talking about object. You're talking about eliminate that object. No more object. Some people, some more intelligent meditator, practitioner would ask, oh, Venerable, you said there shouldn't be any object. You get rid of that object. You still have that subject. Who is meditating? Who is aware of all this? You still have that subject. But let me ask you this question. Why are you still creating that subject in your mind? You created your own subject. You see what I mean? You see, I have a subject and I'm watching that object. Venerable, I still have that subject. No, you created your own subject. There's no subject, no object. There's no one to practice. There's no one to practice and nothing to practice. You're confused. Remember the Heart Sutra? Let me read from the Heart Sutra. In the Heart Sutra it says, and I would like to end it that way because time is up. The Heart Sutra says, and listen very carefully, and we've been lecturing on the Heart Sutra for 30-something hours. For those who missed it, in the Heart Sutra it contains a lot of philosophy, but let me just end it by reading that line from the Heart Sutra, the Hridaya Sutra. It says, in emptiness there is no form, no perception, no conception, no volition, no consciousness, no I, no nose, tongue, body, or mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or object of mind, no realm of the eyes up to no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, no extinction. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no extinction, no path, no wisdom, and also no attainment, because there is no object to be obtained. So you all understand this. That's good. I only understand it partially. That's the end of the session, so see you next time. And it's just very brief and basic information on Vipassana. Actually, we should also be dealing with the 4 arousing of contemplations. The 4 arousing of contemplation: contemplation on the body, on the mind, on what? Oh, you give me the information. What are the 4 contemplations? Huh? No, we contemplate the body as impure, so contemplation on the body, contemplation on perception, because what you receive, contemplation on form, all this material, and contemplation on the mind. So actually Vipassana deals in detail with these 4 arousings of contemplations. Maybe next time when we can go deeper, we already have touched on contemplation when we talk about the 8 Realization Sutra, but I forget them myself sometimes. You need repetition. You need this repetitiousness. You repeat it all and all and all until it's fully grounded in your mind. You can use it at will.